What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome back for some more Fire Emblem Heroes, and this is going to be my comprehensive analysis and review of Summer Leonie and the best builds that you could run on her, and if she's worth your investment with your hero Grails or not. I always make these free-to-play unit reviews, so if you do end up enjoying them, I would really appreciate if you could leave a like and subscribe, and with that said, let us begin. Summer Leonie is a colorless bow cavalier, and we don't really get too many bow cavaliers as free-to-play units in the 3-star, 4-star pool, or even in the Grail pool, so this is not a class that you see that much, and Leonie is among the best in that class in the free-to-play pool because of a really good offensive stat spread of 36 base attack, which is pretty nice, and 39 base speed with a speed super boon. So having this much speed is really good because speed creep is a thing in FEH, and we are seeing faster and faster units. So that's why having more speed is always really good to outspeed many units, to close the gap between the damage reduction units, and to also not get doubled, because Leonie isn't exactly very frail at max investment. So her defense is 27, which is not all that bad for a bow cavalry unit, and she also has a pretty nice weapon which can help with her defense, and overall at max investment she can definitely get bulky on the physical side. Her resistance is definitely pretty low at 19 and her HP is quite workable at 41 for a ranged unit. So she doesn't really have a preferred weapon, but still with her stat spread she's gonna be quite good unit to invest into, and we have a lot of variety of bows that you could inherit. So she already comes with a pretty nice weapon. I wouldn't really say that Sunflower Bow Plus is better than Spendthrift or Pelagian Bow, but it's a decent side grade, especially as a free-to-play option honestly. So at the start of combat, if the foe is above 75% HP, then it grants her +5 defense and inflicts -5 defense on the foe during the combat. And if the foe has any kind of defense bonus, then it can basically steal up their bonus, and that is really going to be making her bulky. So this weapon can help her deal more damage because of the defense debuff on the foe, as well as getting bulky on the physical side by this buff robbery, as I like to put it. So this weapon can definitely make her a bit more bulky than she appears to be, and that's a pretty nice thing for a weapon that's mainly going to be a side grade to Spendthrift or Pelagian Bow if you cannot really get access to them. And many bow cavalry units and cavalry units in general can definitely use this. This is especially going to be incredibly good in Aether raids defense, where buffs are going to be common as people use Peony, Plumeria, stuff like that, and also in Arena and Arena Assault because buffs are quite common there. This weapon doesn't really help you with your magical bulk because it doesn't really give you any kind of extra resistance or extra magical bulk like Spendthrift or Pelagian Bow does indirectly by their attack debuffs. But still, it's a pretty nice weapon. Fair bit of warning, if you want to use Leonie with this Sunflower Bow always, then don't have lull speed defense on her or lull attack defense or even dull ranged, because ignoring foe's defense is really counterproductive with her weapon's effect, because it actually wants the foe to have extra defense so that you can steal it essentially. So if you're going to be running this bow on her, then lull attack speed is a much better option because you're pretty much cancelling 3 stats of the opponent which are most relevant to Leonie, which is attack, speed with lull attack speed, and also defense with her bow. So that's a better lull skill. But if you want to use Spendthrift or Pelagian Bow, then lull speed defense and all of those other options are going to be good as it is for other units. She comes with reposition and a link skill, which is pretty nice, and this link skill is already available on Cynthia for many years, so it's not exactly that new, but she does have attack speed push 3 at 4-star. So attack speed push 3 is going to be a pretty nice thing if you're going to be inheriting attack speed push 4 along with another skill. Like Bernie can give you attack speed push 4 and lull speed defense at the same time, so it's a pretty good option if you want to inherit multiple good skills on a unit. So she's mainly going to be used like that, but we have obtained Petrine before, so her passive skills are not really all that unique. She can definitely be compared to the existing colorless bow cavalry units, and that is Rolf and Louise mainly. Leonie completely dunks on both of these offensively because of her speed super boon and also the superior offensive stat spread. She's got 5 extra attack than Rolf, which is really significant, and she has got 4 extra attack than Louise. She's also faster than both of them, especially compared to Louise, and she's also just as bulky as Rolf on the physical side by having that 32 defense. She does have 5 less points of resistance, but in grand scheme of things, having 5 extra attack is way more useful than having 5 extra resistance. Louise also has a lot of resistance, but most of the time, like, Louise is going to be frail on the physical side. and a lot of times as bow cavaliers they need to be bulky on the physical side a lot more because a lot of the common threats are quite physically based. So Leonie ends up being really good offensively compared to these two. You can also compare her to Wrath and Python. This might seem a bit weird comparison because Wrath and Python have different colors, but still at the end of the day, they are bow cavalry units that, free-to-play players have access to. So again, she completely dunks on Wrath and Python both by having a much better offensive stat spread, having a bit of extra attack, and also having better which makes her a better fire sweep archer than both of these. So Wrath is mainly used as a fire sweep archer and Python is mainly used as a bulky archer, and because of the color of Wrath and Python, they have a better matchup against Brave Hector, who's one of the best units in the entire game. So their color advantage is always going to be with them, and they're not really weak to Raven Tomes like Leonie, so they still have their niche despite the fact that Leonie has much better offensive stat spread. She does have less resistance than Wrath and also has 5 less defense than Python, but keep in mind that Leonie does have a defense super boon, and if you want to really make her bulky, then that's an option, and she can basically be a colorless Python with pretty much same speed, a bit of extra attack, and only lacking in 2 points of resistance. So overall, Leonie is going to be a really excellent free-to-play unit that many people are going to be investing into because bow cavalry units are quite rare in the free-to-play pool, like I said, and they're really versatile to be used in in-game content, in Aether Raid's offense, in Aether Raid's defense, in arena assault. So their high threat range, their high mobility is always going to be really useful, and the fact that we have got so many good inheritable bows also makes their playstyle a lot more versatile, and people can use different bows depending on their need. She's also going to be having a lower grail cost compared to Bridal Louise and Halloween Rolf because ephemera reruns are a thing. We can pretty much project when she's going to be given out as a free ephemera unit at 4-star rarity, and it is going to be in December. So if you're planning to plus and merge Leonie, then just wait till December with like your +9 merge and do your final merge in December, and that is going to be saving you 500 grails, which is quite significant. Now, some people might not want to invest into her because she doesn't have a preferred weapon, and she might suffer the same fate as Louise or Rolf after a couple of years where a unit with better stats just comes out. And another reason is that you might have heavily invested into another bow cavalry unit like Louise, Rolf, or even some of the premium bow cavalry units. For me personally, I've already invested heavily into Wrath. I like Leonie a lot as a character, but when I've already invested so much into Wrath, I think I don't really have too much reason to build up Leonie. So that's the reason for me personally, and I know for many people it is going to be something similar. But regardless, Leonie is easily a really good free-to-play unit that we have got, and in a class that we don't really see that much, so that is really good, and she's going to be a very popular merge project for many people. Now let's move on to the builds that you can run. You mainly want to use her in Arena Assault as a budget unit, and bow cavalry units can definitely be pretty helpful because their high threat range can basically force the AI to go into the rally loops, so they can actually help you with the AI movement. And you can pretty much go with Savage Blow as a slotsy skill for budget, just go with Moonbow and have attack speed solo. You don't really have to do too much on a budget build. You can still go and get Fury and Desperation, which can be helpful, and Susparrow 2 is also an option from Urk as we now have him in the normal summoning pool. And now let's move on to the high investment builds. Obviously you could use this on lower investments as well, but at plus and merge you're going to be getting the max potential. So like I said before, LULL attack speed is the best option if you want to use Sunflower Bow Plus, and she can definitely get pretty decently bulky on the physical side. Attack speed push 4 is a really good option because she already comes with attack speed push 3. So you could definitely use this opportunity to have another premium skill on her. And attack smoke can work on a budget, but there are definitely other slotsy options that you could explore. Attack defense solo is pretty nice because she's already going to be effectively hitting 60 speed unboosted. So attack defense solo just gives her extra attack stat and also extra bulk, which can always be appreciated. You can also go with double solo build with having attack speed solo and slot A if you don't really want the recall damage of the push skill. And again, LULL attack speed is going to be a really nice option. Bonfire actually becomes a pretty good option because of the fact that Sunflower Bow Plus can steal the defense buff from the opponent and also gives her extra defense. And you can also use her with other inheritable bows like Pelagian Bow Plus, which is present on 4-star focus Pelagian Raphael. So Pelagian Bow Plus is a really good option, especially with attack defense menace, or if you're going to be running Temari users that can provide you the attack debuff. So it is definitely going to be making her bulky as well as hit hard. And Deadeye is always going to be an option for an archer like her. She does have workable attack stat for that, especially when you consider the debuffs of Pelagian Bow. And since we're not using Sunflower Bow Plus, LULL speed defense is definitely an option with Pelagian Bow build. You can also go with Coral Bow Plus, even though I think that Sunflower Bow, Spendthrift, Plagian are all better options, but this is available in the Divine Code section at a fairly low cost. So Coral Bow Plus with LULLS speed defense is going to be giving you those nice debuffs, and then she can pretty much use a push skill or a solo skill in slot A. You can also use her with a trace skill, especially speed defense fort trace whenever that comes out, because it will not really clash with Sunflower Bow Plus like LULLS speed defense. So if you just want those defense debuffs more, then the trace skills are an option, and they can also provide you with more mobility options. You can also go with a Spendthrift Bow build, and that can definitely help her be a lot more bulky. And you can definitely go with a solo skill or a push skill in slot A so that she can get the effect of those in both phases, which can definitely be pretty nice because she can definitely take few hits here and there in the enemy phase, especially with the extra bulk that Spendthrift Bow provides. And you can also use her in the Abyssal content just for beating Abyssal maps, chain challenges, by just having a Brave Bow Leonie with 3 dancers. So her offensive stat spread is definitely pretty nice for this. And since we're just going to be using her in player phase, so Sparrow 3 will be sufficing, but other options like a solo skill or Fury is going to be working out fine as well. We do have colorless dual cavalry 4 on Groom Sol, so she can definitely be a really nice option, and honestly the best free to play option for colorless dual cavalry 4, because her stat spread is definitely much better than Rolf, especially because she has better attack, so that is really useful in arena. And the fact that you can just steal the buffs with Sunflower Bow Plus on defense and then run LULL attack speed is really good for arena usage, because people are going to be running rally skills there. Because she doesn't have a preferred weapon, you'll have to run a 300 SP slotsy skill, so something like Joint Drive Attack or Attack Defense Menace is definitely a good option. You can also go with a trace skill because it will help you get back and retreat and hit and run, which is quite useful in arena. And you can always use a Plagian Bow when you're going to be using Attack Defense Menace on her, and it does have really good synergy, and you can just stack up Attack Defense Fort Trace debuffs on top of that, and she can definitely be a lot more bulky than she appears to be, and also hit pretty hard. You can also go with a Spendthrift Bow build, and this definitely helps you a bit more for her resistance, as Sunflower Bow doesn't really help you with that, and you're definitely going to be facing mages and dragons in arena, so Spendthrift Bow's extra bulk is definitely going to be good. Sadly, you cannot really utilize Deadeye, and you pretty much have to run Ruptured Sky with this kind of build. And then finally, if you want to use her in Aether Raid's offense, then she could be used with a Brave Bow build, not exactly as a hit and run unit, but at times in Astro Season I guess you could do that. But she's mostly to be used with other offensive threats like maybe Gale Force units, like Fallen Edelgard, Legendary Edelgard, or just with a lot more cavalry units which can just go hit and just follow that aggressive playstyle. She's definitely a lot better in Aether Raid's defense as a bow cavalry unit, and the first build is definitely something that you're going to be seeing a lot because she has got the best stat spread for a fire sweep bow cavalry unit out of the free to play and the Grail pool of bow cavalry units. I pretty much run this kind of similar build on my Wrath, as you guys know, and it's really useful because save units are pretty much the meta, especially far save units. So they don't have access to null counter disrupt because they're armor units, and that's why you can run Fire Sweep Bow and double Poison Strike and just really annoy them. This is pretty much the build I run on Wrath outside of Fatal Smoke, because we do have Mystic Boost Sacred Seal, which is really common on far save units. We have Brave Hector, who almost always uses Mystic Boost Sacred Seal. Fallen Edelgard has her self-sufficiency, and even Henriette in her base kit does get HP from her Unity Blooms. So having Fatal Smoke just restricts their healing, and you can pretty much spread the Fatal Smoke effect and also Poison Strike them, which can really chip down their far save units despite how much bulky they can be. So this kind of passive damage with double Poison Strike is extremely potent if you have seen my Aether Raid's defense videos. And if you just want to run a budget build, then you can pretty much go with our Sunflower Bow Plus, which is not that bad on defense at all. And you can go with ARD Speed Res, which can be obtained from Mercedes. You also have Guard, which is going to be helping you against many of the threats with just spam specials and run with Special Fighter or Brave Lucina. And then you can have Attack Defense Solo to just get extra bulk. And Leonie can definitely get quite bulky with this build. If you want to invest a lot more into her, then you can definitely go with ARD Speed Defense, because in my opinion, defense is always going to be a lot more useful than getting extra resistance. And we have gotten Bright Sigrun in the Ephemera pool, so people can have access to ARD Speed Defense a lot easier now. So it can be pretty good for stacking up defense on her, and defense is going to be helping you a lot as physical threats are mostly going to be more common to be used on Aether Raid's offense than magical threats. And LULL attack speed is just perfect because people are going to be using Peony in the light season, so that's why in the dark season with Sunflower Bow and with the LULL skill she can definitely be pretty effective. And again, Fatal Smoke or Panic Smoke can be worked out with this kind of build. And finally, if you really want to make her bulky on both spectrums, then ARD Defense Res is an option, and this is pretty much a build which you see Rolf run. So you can utilize Spendthrift Bow to just give you extra attack debuff on the enemy, as well as giving you the extra firepower. As it is, we're going to be using a 2-turn special with this kind of ARD builds, so it doesn't really hurt too much. And she can pretty much hit like 61 defense and 49 resistance, while also being really fast and also hitting pretty decently hard. So overall, this can be a pretty annoying Bocav arena that many people are going to be disliking to face. But still, I feel like Fire Sweep is a bit better in today's metagame of save units. And it's a lot better than, you know, just trying to be bulky, because at the end of the day, you have to keep in mind you're going to be facing a lot of Brave Hectors and a lot of Fallen Needle Guards. So I feel like Fire Sweep Bow is going to be helpful most of the time in today's meta, but still these are all pretty good options for Aether 8's defense. So that is going to be my review of Summer Leonie. Make sure to share this video with your friends who are trying to build her up or thinking of doing that. This video will definitely help them as I went over a lot of build options. I want to thank all of my YouTube members for their constant support, and if you enjoyed, then please be sure to leave a like and a comment. Helps me tremendously, and be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because YouTube sub boxes are about as functional as Rolf and Louise watching Leonie come into the game. So that's it, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.